1 Peter chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each one should use whatever gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. That is the word of the Lord, and we thank God for his word. This message is really straightforward. It's coming right out of this COVID-19 pandemic in 2021. And if you're watching this and the COVID-19 crisis is history, what a blessing that is for you. But I think the heart of this message still applies no matter when you're watching this video. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. It is genuinely difficult right now to offer hospitality. We're supposed to be keeping our distance. We're supposed to be isolating so that we don't spread this very difficult and contagious disease to one another. And it is hard. Even when we want to reach out and embrace those who are around us, it is hard to find ways of doing that well. How much more difficult is it when we can't invite people into our homes? We can't open our homes to those we would love to have come in. I don't know about you, but I struggle with hospitality at the best of times. Let's begin thinking about this passage by admitting there are some people who, for them, responding to this command is a joy. Thank God for those people. There are people who have a gift, a God-given gift of hospitality. My wife is one of those people. There are very few things that make her more excited than cooking and baking for others and sharing her recipes. In fact, I was just having a conversation this week with someone who mentioned to me that they were using one of Melody's recipes that she had passed along to them. And I was so grateful to be able to share that with my wife because I know her heart just soars. If you know someone who has this gift of hospitality, will you do me a favor and will you encourage them, thank them for what God has done through them? I'm sure that they would respond with, well, I'm happy to do it. I feel blessed when I do it. I'm sure that will be their response. But never stop encouraging these people. They are precious. They are an irreplaceable part of our communities. Thank you for your gift of hospitality and using it well. Now, for the rest of us who struggle with that a little bit, this doesn't let you off the hook. Peter says clearly, offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. I think that implies there may be a reason to grumble. For some of us, hospitality does not come naturally. And for all of us, hospitality will cost something. It will cost you space, which you may want to keep private. It will cost you resources as you share that with others. It will cost you time and emotional energy as you welcome people into your home and your heart. But we as believers are called to do it without grumbling. You see, we've received grace from our God. God, because of who he is, has done for us what we do not deserve and we could never earn for ourselves. So now we turn and we are gracious to others. We build communities with others. Those of us who have been called by his name, we form these communities knowing that we are a colony of the kingdom of heaven here on this world. We offer hospitality to one another and to those outside, and we should do it without grumbling. So for those of us who it doesn't come naturally to, you're not off the hook. It's still a command from Scripture. Now here's the real issue, or here's the challenge for us today. What does that look like in a COVID-19 pandemic? Well, I want to point out something very interesting, or at least I find it interesting, that comes in verse 10. Peter says, each one of you should use whatever gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administering the grace of God in its various forms. What if we stopped focusing on what we can't do and started focusing on what we can do? What if we stopped focusing on these are the restrictions and said, God, will you show me the open doors that I have. They may not be the doors we would choose to walk through, but this is God's grace to us in this time. They may not be the opportunities we would like to take. They may not be the interactions we would like to have. And yet, God continues to administer his grace to us. Will we faithfully then administer that grace to others? What can you do today? You're far more creative than I am, I guarantee it. Creativity is not necessarily my strong suit. I like the facts and the figures. I like seeing in a straight line. You are more creative than I am. I urge you, get on your knees and go to God in prayer with this. How can we, as the community of faith, show hospitality and administer faithfully the grace we have received? I said I'm not creative. Let me get you, this can be a seed. This can be the starting point. What if in these next few weeks, for us right now, we're approaching the Easter season. What if this week and the next week and the next week until Easter, what if you made an intentional choice to reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in the last 6 months, one home a week, and you called them and you said, hey, how can I pray for you? Or maybe you could pray for them in advance and say, hey, you've been on my mind. I've been praying for you. I just want to know, how are things going with you? What if, in this age of internet and delivery services, you called someone up and said, you know what? We wanted to have you in our home, but it just won't work. What if I had supper sent over? Would that be okay? If tonight doesn't work, what's another night that we could do? How can we show hospitality? The command still stands in a COVID-19 world. Will we respond? Will we be faithful? I'm grateful that God has promised he will never leave us. He will never forsake us. He will work, even in a pandemic society, even in a day where we can't embrace with hugs and handshakes. God is still at work. And I'm thankful for his people, the hands and feet that minister by the grace of the Spirit. God bless you. Have a good day.